What's going on, everybody? I'm not going to be on too long because I am driving. But, I was kind of thinking about something, and I just wanted to kind of encourage you all and, just talk. You ever heard certain words or certain statements or phrases, and we kind of automatically associate it or, connect it to maybe something not so positive or something that you kind of really don't want to do because you're like, oh man, what do I mean? When we hear the word wait, sometimes when we hear wait, think about it when you're at a restaurant. I was actually just ordering some food and they said the wait time is going to be, and typically when a restaurant says that, they want you to understand that, it's going to be a little bit of a wait. So it's not going to be quick, it's a little bit busy. And, I was thinking about different perspectives in which we have to wait for things. Sometimes if you go to the doctor, you have to wait for your results. Sometimes when you're doing just different things in life, right, you have to wait, right? You work, you have to wait for your paycheck. I can give so many different scenarios. And I started to think, and I said, we associate waiting as almost like, man, it's just a tough thing. Like, nobody wants to wait. We just want it now, right? And then honestly, if you kind of look at how social media is and the way of the world, right? We want everything quickly. We want it done quickly. We want it right away. We don't want to have to wait. We just want, hey, we want it and we want it now. Sometimes we'll pay extra so we don't have to wait. We want that exclusivity sometimes. But I begin to think about the difference between when I wait and the difference between when God makes me wait. And, as I'm getting older, how I view certain things and how I think about certain things, how I used to feel about it, I've learned to have peace in it now. Because, obviously when I was growing up, I didn't want to wait for nothing. We had, some people say that I'm a fashionista. I don't think I'm a fashionista. Fashionista. Honestly, I dress the way that I dress because where I'm from, that's just what we do. But I remember growing up when Jordans used to come out, and we didn't want to wait for the day that the Jordans came out. So let's say if they came out December 23rd, if you had the Jordans early, because you didn't have to wait for the release date, ooh, you was doing something. People would get Jordans and purposely, and I was one of them people, would purposely go out and about 2-3 days before the Jordans dropped in stores, right? So people could see. People, oh man, how you get them? You had a plug. And everybody used to give you accolade. People used to be like, man, you got those? Or, if you couldn't get the early release because you didn't have a plug or your plug ran out, you would have to wait in line. I remember there's times where I had to literally wait in line to get Jordans, and then they started to change it to where you would have to get a ticket. And if your ticket was pulled in a raffle, and I'm just giving that as a small examples, but I want you to just take a moment to think about certain things that you just really thought, I just can't wait on this. I don't want to wait. I shouldn't have to wait. And you thought it was an inconvenience. And then as I began to reflect about that, even concerning myself, I thought about all the times that I thought I was ready for something, that I thought I wanted something, that I thought surely I can handle it. But God either closed the door, removed a person, changed the situation that caused me to wait. And I began to reflect and like, God, had you not did that, had you not gave it to me prematurely, watch this, had you not listened to me and let me tell you what I think is best, and let me say, I don't want to wait for that. I'm telling you, I know I'm ready. God, can't you see? And he's so loving that we think that when he takes something from us, if you will, or close a door, if you will, or cause us to wait, we think it's a form of punishment. We think it's a bad thing. But as I begin to get older, I reflect and I think back and I'm like, I am so glad he made me wait. I'm glad he didn't give me something simply because I thought in my flesh I was ready. I'm so glad he didn't allow that situation to manifest all the way through. I'm so glad that things got so bad, if you will, or things started to change drastically, if you will, to where I said, wait, that I was almost forced to come out of something because I didn't have the strength to do it. I was listening to somebody today and they preached a good word, and he said, you ever just been so stuck in something that God had to literally force you out of that? And I was like, man, I can understand that. But I just thank God that he always knows what's best for me. So now that I'm at the place that I'm in life, I actually don't mind waiting. There was a song, I don't know if you all are familiar with it, which I'm sure you are because it's a pretty common song. And I'm not no singer, but now why won't this turn off? Now I'm not no singer, but the song used to say, I don't mind waiting. I don't mind waiting. I don't mind waiting. But guess who you gotta wait on? On the Lord. And I'm like, that's just so true. I think about, what if God would have just gave me this because I'm crying and thinking I wanted it? Y'all, I would have messed it over. I would have messed it up. I would have lost it. I wouldn't have been able to maintain it. Then I would have been going back to him wondering, why would you do this, God? And he would have said, that's because what you said you wanted. But I know what's best for you. And so I just want to encourage you, don't let certain things that could be associated with a word or a phrase or a statement, don't let that make you think it's a bad thing. Waiting is the best thing you can do. Not just waiting. Waiting on the Lord is even better. It's greater. See, I also was listening to somebody else, and they said something that was so powerful. They said anytime God mentions something, for an example, that means he understands that there's a will and an ability to do it. I'm going to just give you this as an example. So understand what I'm saying. So they were saying, if it was so hard to abstain from premarital sex, why would God say you should wait till marriage? He obviously had to understand, as hard as you think it may be to not fornicate, you actually can do it. Because I wouldn't even give you something that you don't think that you're able to do, especially if you pull on my strength. So what do I mean by that? Some things that you think you know, you have to understand God's not going to give you anything, guide you to anything, drops anything in your spirit, give you a dream or a vision that he does not give you the power and the strength to be able to do. What you think is hard is not hard to God. What you think is challenging is not challenging to God. What you think is impossible is not impossible to God. So while you may say, oh, I can't wait for this, God says you absolutely can wait. Just ask me to help you wait, and I'll help you wait. And while you're waiting, I'll comfort you, I'll guide you, I'll reassure you. Whatever it is that you need God to do in between what we call the waiting period, I promise you he can do it. And when you begin to think about things, and when you want to get to a place where you want to have healthy, mature dialogue with yourself and God, your language will begin to change. God, in your timing. God, only if it's your will. God, it don't matter to me. I'm going to go with whatever you go with. You know why? Because I know you know what's best. Because if I think about things that you would have given me when I wasn't ready, I would have blew it. If I think about certain things that I just knew that I knew that I knew, and I know that I know that I know, come to find out, I didn't know nothing. God, I realized that when you took this from me, when you closed this door, when you stopped this, God, I actually realized that your ability to give me the strength to wait has protected me. It has saved me. It has comforted me. It has provided for me. It has stopped me from ruining my life, ruining other people's lives, messing up things. It stopped me from going crazy. It stopped me from losing my mind, losing my self-worth. That's why you gotta wait. So now, when I have to wait for something, I don't care if it's food. I wait with patience. You know why? Because I say, well, God, you obviously feel like I need to wait 25, 30 minutes to be seated. You obviously feel like, and I know y'all may say, well, God don't care about little stuff like that. Yes, he do. How do I know? You ever have an unction where you should just stop or to make a turn or not go somewhere, and then you hear that something catastrophic happens? Guess what? Just like God can give you that, God can find a reason to make you wait for your food. God can find a reason to make you have to wait at a restaurant. You don't know what he sees. You don't know what he knows. You don't know it though. You don't see the behind the scenes. You don't see what God can see. Some stuff he will give us. But it's in the part that where it's like, God, here I am thinking I know, but I've realized and I've lived enough and I have some more living to do. But up until this point in my life, I lived enough to say, wait, sure I'll wait. I don't want to do nothing unless God tell me. See, because you get to that place because you realize you don't have the answer, but you know somebody that does. When God closes a door, I realize, why would I be mad at that? Why am I trying to force something that God said I'm trying to close this? Allow me to close this. You too busy saying, but God, it's gonna hurt too bad. And then he like, listen, if you just get in me, I'll help you with that too. So if I get a no, if I get a no, I celebrate. If the door closes, I celebrate. When the door opens, I celebrate. If I have to wait, I celebrate. If I have to be patient, I celebrate. If I have to maneuver quickly, I celebrate. If I have to change and alter quickly, I celebrate. I am learning that anything I do in my life, it's worth waiting for if I wait on God. So don't let the word wait scare you. And we're not talking about where the devil try to trick you and make you think you behind time and you delayed and you wait no man. No. Because when you wait on God, he'll make you think you didn't have to wait at all. He'll make it so sweet to where you would say, and somebody would say, how long did you wait for that? Girl, it didn't even matter. You know why it didn't matter? Because right when I got it, that thing was so sweet. It was such perfect timing. I couldn't even have maneuvered and lined it up the way God did. Wait on the Lord. I love y'all. We'll talk soon.